Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd. It is 6:23 right now. We got market opening up in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and finish setting up this room real quick and marking up liquidity, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a few things here to mark up. Just going to mark the closest liquidity. A little messy, just a little bit. I believe Powell's speaking this morning, so we'll see how that's affecting the market so far. Down to the 15. Down to the 10. Back down to the 1 here. And it looks like we're good to go. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd. It is 6:26 right now. We got market opening up in about 4 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. Pretty much marked up everything. Looking over here, we have supply and demand, which is pretty far off from where price is currently at. So I got the supply one, supply two over here, demand one, demand two below it. Um, Yeah, we're not super close to it, so we'll kind of just keep that in mind once price reaches around that area. We got price coming down a little bit right here, so if I need to make some adjustments, I'll make the adjustments. Right now at this moment, it's not super duper necessary, so I'll just leave it as is. I'll clean this up once we get closer to market open. So, see what's here so far. Morning Daniel, morning Camo, morning Sam. Yes, Camo said it's a conference. Came over to tell you. I'm sending you the link on IG, bro. Yeah, definitely, Camo. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I'll look it up on YouTube right now as well because it should be on here. He's been speaking since 5:30 though, so or the conference has been going on. So let's see, Powell live. Yeah, so they're actually speaking right now. All right, so we'll come back and take a look at that in a few, but right now it's not super duper necessary. So we'll come back and take a look at that later, see how price reacts to it. Otherwise, there's not really too much here to really work with. We'll see what happens in a few. HX morning. Hopefully that brings some volatility to the market though, because we've been kind of, obviously choppy lately. So let's see, the ATR is currently at 7, not very high at all. Let me go over here real quick. Yeah, so we'll see what happens here in a few. Let's take a look at the overall bias. So overall bias for today is neutral to bearish. Price is trading below yesterday's VWAP within a mid-range chop. Lack of bullish follow through after recent highs yesterday and cautious pre-market action suggests neutral to bearish bias unless 44,600 breaks with momentum. So if price gets past 44,600 and stays above that area, then we can shift to a bullish bias. But right now, it's currently neutral to bearish. You can see over here, it is bearish with regard to the trend as well. The 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute price is below the pivots. The trend meter is red and the pivots are angling to the downside. So with that said, we do have a bearish bias overall with regard to trend and with regard to my overall outlook. We'll use this to our advantage to look for opportunities for entry here, meaning I'll probably be looking for an orb entry for a sell. I'll also be looking for some high-low break and retest for a sell as well. So other than that, we got market opening up here shortly in about 30 seconds. If you guys are looking to take the original breakout for today is going to be a sell. So if you guys want to take that, feel free. I will follow up for you guys here and we will see where this takes us. So we got market opening up in about 20 seconds. Here's a problem. If we do get a sell entry here for the breakout, the problem is this candle right here is already big, so you might get a fake out or you may get some sort of manipulation. We're getting a push down here to this lower level of liquidity. And we'll see what happens here shortly, guys. So market is opening up in about 2 seconds, and market is now open. So let's see what happens here if price gets manipulated to the upside before it comes down, or if it just comes down directly. All right, I'm gonna mark up opening price right here. So like I said, careful for this fake out manipulation. Looks like we got a sweep right here off the liquidity. Price came down, sweep this area, and now it's pushing right back up to the sessions up here. Looking at this, if price ends up closing above this area, then this is going to be the high of the orb. I'm mainly going to be looking for sells here right now, guys. At this very moment, I'm going to be looking for sells mainly. Looking at the overall trend, even the higher time frames are bearish. 30 minutes bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 4 hours bearish. Price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. I'll be looking for price to come back down further. Price push about 30 points right there. It's pulled back right back down. So it looks like we got double sweeps here. We got a sweep right here off these sessions. I mean, the ATR is extremely low though. So if you guys can see below, the ATR is currently at 11 ATR. So this is really tricky to be taking trades, with this type of market condition right now. So I wouldn't really be taking anything right now at the moment. I'd kind of just wait and see how the market here picks up in a few. So anyways, we have a possible orb high right there and possible orb low right here. Again, like I said, guys, I'm probably not going to look for buys here right now because the overall trend here is currently bearish. We're starting to get a spike to the upside. It's all manipulation, of course, with regard to the lower time frames, 1 minute and 5 minute. This doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hold. So if we get an orb entry here for a buy, I don't know if I'll be taking it, guys. All right, so it looks like we're probably going to get an orb here for a buy. Again, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be taking this because we are still not very confirmed that the trend here has shifted yet. It's only shifted on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. The higher time frames here are still bearish to neutral. So if you guys want to take this here as an orb entry is going to be at 44,555. I would say take this with caution, guys, if you guys are looking to take this here as an orb entry. Because we have the sessions right there. Price is spiking directly off the sessions right there. Let me clean this up a little bit because it's a mess right here, as you guys can see. It's a pretty big mess. It's an area of manipulation. Yeah, pretty much came up and grabbed all the liquidity above. Sweep right here off that higher level. Okay, so no orb yet, guys. The orb actually didn't break and close past it. So price came up and then it spiked right back down. So there's still no orb entry here. Price has not broken and closed past this area. Again, if you guys want to take that as an entry, there's a sessions right here. This is considered a red flag, of course. And the trend here still has not confirmed across the higher time frames. So if you guys want to take it, feel free to take it. If you guys don't want to take it, you guys can just wait. But there were two sweeps here that happened just right now, back to back. Yeah, sweep right there. And then a possible sweep right here that's currently running. Or if you went for the 20, it already hit for 20 points. So, okay, I wouldn't take the orb right here, guys. You guys can see how these candles are closing. The price action here is a total mess. So you can see over here, it shows that this candle opened above it, but this candle closed below it. So I personally wouldn't take any orbs around this area. I mean, I just wouldn't take the orb at all in general today because you can see this right here. The candle pushed up to here and then it closed below and then it closed below again right here, but this candle opened above it. So I mean, technically the orb is running, but this wasn't a clean orb. Because typically what you want to see is you want price to break above it, close, come back for retest, and then push back up higher, right? We didn't really get that right here, as you guys can see. This was more of a like price kind of gap through this area right here. So if you guys are in this orb, I mean, feel free to take it. I'm not in this position. I wouldn't recommend taking it. You can see how price kind of gap right here between the entry point. That just, when you see gaps like that, where price is closed down here, but it opens up here, that means there's a lot of uncertainty with regard to the direction of price. And there's going to be a lot of slippage and there's going to be a lot of manipulation happening around this point. So if you guys want to take that there, I mean, feel free. I personally wouldn't recommend taking it, but if you guys do want to, um, take it at your own risk. Again, I'm glad we can take that there because see how price is getting manipulated around this area. Yeah. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen there. So again, the reason why I thought that was going to happen there and why I anticipated it was because look at the price action right here. You're looking for price to break and close above this area and retest it, right? Price initially closed below the line, but then this candle for some reason opened up here. So you basically had like a little gap. Price kind of gapped up and then it came back down. So I'm good on the orb for right now. Not really looking to take it, of course. I'm going to go over here and take a look at our regular chart. And once we have a confirmation of trend and direction, then I'll start looking for my high-low break and retest. But again, like I said, we're right here at the sessions. This is an area of manipulation, so I wouldn't necessarily look to take any entries around this point here. If you guys did take the sweep, looks like the sweeps here did fill on both ends and they're pretty much done with. Now I'm going to be looking for the next opportunity for entry. We're getting closer to the supply zone up here. So we got supply zone 1 up here. This is going to be an area of reversal. So right here we have the overnight high, key short-term resistance. It also lines up with our liquidity right there. If you guys are looking to take another sweep, this could be a possible sweep area. If you guys remember from my daily outlook here, I mentioned if price breaks 44,600 with momentum, it's probably going to shift to a bullish bias. Right now we're still neutral to bearish, but again, this is 44,600 right here. So if price breaks past this area, there's going to be two different scenarios here. Price is either going to push up and sweep this area right here, or price is going to break and retest this area and push up higher. So just a couple things there to look out for. Nice, Sam got the sweep right there. Let's see what happens here. So this area is an important area to pay attention to, guys, because this area is there's either going to be a reversal here or it's going to be a continuation, right? One or the other. So just be aware. So we're pushing up right now. Looking over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 15 minute. The 1 minute's now bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. Same with the 5 minute over here. Price is above the pivots. The trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. The 15 minute over here is still neutral. So price is attempting to shift above it. We have about 6 to 7 minutes left on this candle. So once this candle closes above it, we can confirm whether it's going to continue up higher or whether it's going to stay below. So I think in the next 6 minutes, we'll confirm whether our trend here has shifted. Otherwise, we're going to stay limbo around this area here. So in the next 6 minutes, we'll see if price actually breaks past this area, climbs up higher. or if it comes up, sweeps, and comes right back down to this lower point. The tricky market this week. A lot of unusual pushes. All right, we're currently within the supply zone now, guys. So now being within the supply zone up here, we'll see if price breaks above or if it comes right back down. So within the supply zone down the middle, again, we're going to look for price to either sweep this area, come back down, or we're going to look for it to break and close above this area, retest, and push up higher. So we need to get some momentum push to the upside. We can't get price to just stick around this area. If price ends up consolidating around this area, it's probably going to reverse back down. If we get a nice strong push past it, then we're probably going to get a continuation up higher. That falls in line with my daily outlook over here, right? So other than that, we'll kind of see. So here's my AM session outlook. Expect choppy two directional move. That's exactly what happened right here. We do have Chicago PMI, I believe, at 9:45, so in about 5 minutes. Look for breakout setups around 44,650 and 44,420. So again, here's another confirmation breakout setup right here. If price gets above 44,650 and it stays above this area right here, expect to break out to the upside. If price fails to break out and push momentum to the upside, then expect a fake out right here and pull back down below. All right, two different scenarios here. It's either price is going to break and close above it, or price is going to reject off this area and come right back down. So we'll see. This is a key area here, 44,600. All right, we got this candle here. Not really too much momentum behind it. Let me check the news for today. So there's actually no PMI today. The PMI is tomorrow, I believe, or is it later this week? We do have news pretty much every day this week, though. So today we have this conference going on right now. It's Jerome Powell live with other members of the Fed. And then we have Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index at 7 o'clock. There's nothing really happening today other than that. Tomorrow, we do have some other news events, existing home sales month over month and existing home sales for the month. Gas stock change. Thursday, we have initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims, S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, new home sales, etc. And then Friday, we have durable good orders. So not really any much news today. There's no catalyst aside from what happens at the Fed today. We got price pushing past this area, guys. Again, like I said earlier, if we have price breaking close past this area with momentum, then our bias is going to be shifting to a bullish bias. So this is kind of what we're waiting for right here. We're just waiting for price to break and close past this area. Once it does, we'll look for price to push up higher and we can start looking for some possible buys here. Otherwise, if this here ends up faking out and pulling below, then we'll look for continuation or a correction back to the downside. Nice. So Visual said his entry was running at 44,561. 44,561 right here. So it looks like it did push back up finally. Really tight move here though. 44,561. So Visual actually got in right here. This point, and he rolled this up higher. So if you went for the full 100 there, it looks like the 100 just got hit. A lot of choppiness right here on the entry, but eventually did push up higher and got hit right there. So we got price finally above this area, guys. If this is the case, we now have a shift to the upside. So looking over here at the 15-minute candle, the 15-minute candle, this candle is going to close in about a minute. So once this here closes, we can possibly start to shift to a bullish bias. Right, this is the main one that we were looking for here. because the 1 minute already shifted, 5 minute shifted, the 15 minute hasn't shifted yet, but this candle looks like it's going to close above in the next minute or so. So if this ends up shifting above, then we do have a shift back to the upside. Looking over here at my daily outlook, you can see over here I mentioned so market was neutral to bearish bias unless 44,600 was broken with momentum, which is exactly what happened here, right? Price broke above it, like I mentioned here. We just need to make sure that it stays above this area. So we need it to stay above here. If it doesn't stay above here, then price is likely to pull back below this supply level, right? So we need to see price stay above this area here. It's a key thing to look out for. All right, so we'll see if it breaks and retests off this supply zone right here. There's two things that are going to happen. It's either going to fake out or it's going to push back. It's going to push back above it. So like I said earlier, guys, we need price to stay above here with momentum for it to be bullish. Otherwise, if this doesn't stay above it, then we're going to expect it to pull back down into this lower range. So either pull back down or push up and continue up higher. I'll be looking for a possible high-low break and retest from this area up here, guys. We need to have some sort of low established first before this high can be established, but that's going to be one of the things that I'll be looking for here. Possible high-low break and retest from this higher high. But in order for this higher high to be established, we need to have a low established, right? So we need a low to come up over here before I can start looking for entry here for possible high-low break and retest. But I mean, it's looking good so far for the most part. It looks like the 15-minute has possibly closed already. Yeah, so you look over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, we're now in a bullish, somewhat bullish. We're more so a neutral to bullish trend. So the 1 minute's obviously bullish, price is above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. Same with the 5 minute here, price is above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. The 15 minute over here, price is above the pivots are starting to angle up, but the trend meter down below is still blue. So this means that it's neutral. We need to have this confirmed first before we can start looking for opportunities at this point. Looks like we might get a high-low break and retest here now, guys. So I'll be looking for this here for possible opportunity for entry. It's going to be at 44,666. 44,666 for high-low break and retest to the upside. Looks like price is retesting the supply zone right there. I'll be watching it. All right, so this candle here has to close above this blue line right here. If it closes above, this is going to be a high-low break and retest opportunity for entry. If it doesn't, you got to wait for it to actually close above it. So I'll be looking for possible opportunity for entry here if it closes above this area. We got 10 seconds left on this candle. It's not looking like it's going to close above it, so I'm going to wait for the next candle here. Yeah, no confirmation there yet. All right, so this is going to be a little tricky because we have a new higher high right here. What we need to see next is we need price to actually push past this area, retest, and push up higher. It's going to have to push this further. You get about 30 seconds left on here. Nice. Rashida got a levels entry at the 600 level. Solid. Yeah, that's perfect. That actually lined up with the confluence too. So good entry right there. All right, the volatility here is starting to die down a little bit, guys. Again, if you guys are looking to take this, there's a possible high-low break and retest that may happen right here. It's a big maybe though, because the volatility here is starting to die down. So I don't know if we're going to get enough of a push to really get this any higher. Yeah, it looks like the momentum up here is not really holding very much. If we start to get a consolidation right here, I'm not going to be looking for any more directional moves until we get a further push to the upside. You guys got to remember, you don't want to be taking directional entries when price is going back and forth like this. There was an MPSV2 that came up right here, guys. It was at the sessions earlier. Not sure if anybody caught that, but it happened very quickly. Right there. There was an MPSV2 that happened. down here. Buy signal retracement confirmation. Okay, again, I'm looking for price breaking close past this area, guys. It does not look like we're going to get it on this current candle, but I'll see what happens here again on the next one. All right, slow price action here, guys. I'll be following this here. So we're starting to get a push up right here. Again, I need to see some sort of momentum pushing up. I can't get this where it's going to like stay here and be flat. I need this to actually push out of this area, retrace, and come back up higher. Until we get that, there's really not going to be any entries here. Looking at the price action now, price is going sideways very slowly. I think at this point, we're probably not going to have any moves here for directional entry. Like I said, this is a key area right here. So, you got to see how price reacts to the supply zone. It's either going to fake out right here and pull back down below, or it's going to push up very strongly, break above, and retest for entry. Okay, never mind, guys. I take it back. So there's no high-low break and retest anymore on this higher high. This has been invalidated because we now have a new higher high right here. So we have a new higher high and we have a new low right here. So entry for this is now going to be at 44,670. But again, we need to have some strong momentum to push through this area. If there's no strong momentum, then there's no opportunity for entry there. So 671 is now the new price point for entry. All right, it's not looking like we're going to get anything here, guys. If anything, you might have to shift over to some sweeps. Sweeps or V1 variations. Again, looking at my playbook here, we're going to a sideways market, so you might have to shift from the directional entries to the sideways entries. We initially were looking for high-low break and retest plus MPS V2, but because there's not very much direction here, we might have to shift over to sideways strategies, liquidity sweeps or V1 variations. All right, I'm gonna hold off on entries right here, guys. You guys can see that price is not really doing much at all. Price is literally going back and forth between the two levels of liquidity here. Yeah, so if you guys want to take a sweep, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to catch sweeps over here as price comes down and grabs the liquidity. Otherwise, I'm gonna hold off on the directional entries right now. Price is pretty much flat. And we got news at 10 o'clock. It's low impact news, but it's still news nonetheless. We got Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index. So we'll see what happens here shortly, guys. It's just a matter of time until something actually happens here. All right, we're starting to get a big spike to the downside. It's pretty much doing what I told you guys about, right? So, like I said earlier, this price point right here, the supply zone, there's one of two scenarios that will happen here because this is going to be the threshold for price to either shift to bullish or switch back to bearish. Like I said earlier, in order for us to have a really shift to the upside, we need to have price to break past 44,600 with momentum and stay above it. Like I said earlier, when price gets to this point, there's going to be two different scenarios. Either price is going to sweep up here, come right back down, or price is going to break above it and push up higher, right? The break above never happened with a push up higher. So with this being the case, I mean, price here is now starting to shift to the downside. So that's completely fine. If we get a shift back down, that's okay. We'll just look for entries to the downside. Looking over here at our overall trend, you can see the 1 minute starting to shift back down, 5 minutes starting to shift back down, 15 minutes starting to shift back down. The higher time frames here are still somewhat bearish, right? The 1 hour is still bearish, the 4 hour is still bearish neutral, and the 30 minute over here is still bearish. So this push to the upside was just temporary. Everything else over here is still looking bearish. So there's no surprise here. This isn't like, oh, like something crazy is happening here. This was expected, right? It failed to push above it. So now it's pulling back into this lower range. Opening price is down here. So if price does push down lower, it's probably going to push back down to opening price right there. That's going to be the target threshold. What I'm going to be looking for here is if price reaches this lower area, is I'm going to be looking for price to push down even lower. And I'm going to take entry down here, right? I'll be looking for some high-low break and retest down below. Only problem with taking sells around where price is currently at right here is that there's a bunch of red flags, right? We got the London low right here. We got the New York low. We got the Asia low. We got opening price. And then we got the liquidity down below here. So just keep that in mind, guys. This is going to be a tricky area to be taking sells. You might have to wait for price to push down just a bit lower. The lower, the better, of course. All right, while we look at that, I'm going to look at a couple things here too. I need to get into my positions for the earnings today. Let me check my earnings real quick. So we got Alphabet on Tuesday. Get into that. I'm going to average into Google Alphabet 187. $47. 87 and then 186. Couple more shares. Three. And I'm going to get into Tesla at 320. So 20. All right, cool. My order's baked in right there. Come back and take a look at that later. All right, back to why I'm over here, guys. Nothing's happened since then, so don't worry, you guys are not missing out on anything. You can see our price is still stuck within the supply zone. It's the supply zone here lines up with the resistance, so it's not like it's anything crazy. I mean, if you want to just look at resistance, the resistance zone is right here. This is my resistance one. It's a key fade zone if tested early, which is pretty much what happened here. Price pushed up. It tested it pretty early over here at 641, and it's now starting to fade from this point. Like I said earlier, there's two different opportunities here that may arise. Price is either going to fake out from this area, pull back and push back to the opening price, or if price does push back higher, possible break above and push up from here. But like I said earlier, guys, this is not a good area to be trading in. We're going to wait for some sort of confirmation here for us to take the entry. Looking at the 15-minute time frame, this is really going to be the key thing to look out for here because this is going to confirm whether price stays above or whether price stays below, right? Because the 1 minute here is still bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. Same with the 5 minute over here. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. The 15-minute over here, price is above the pivots. The pivots are starting to angle to the upside, but the trend meter down below is still blue. So with that said, we're still in a bullish neutral bias with regard to the lower time frames. For the higher time frames over here, it's opposite though, right? If you look over here on the 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, price here is in between the pivots. The trend meter is red. Pivots are kind of just going sideways. So this indicates that price is more of a bearish neutral here. So more of a bearish neutral with the higher time frames, more of a bullish neutral on the lower time frames. So this is a little tricky because you really don't know what's going to happen next, right? You just got to be smart about it and you have to be patient because anything can really happen here. So going back to our chart over here, you guys can see price again is failing to get past this area, but it's also failing to push below. So it kind of just sits here down the middle, which is not what you want, right? You want price to either push below and drop down lower, or you want price to push above and push up higher. The ATR is currently at 30 right now, so we do have some volatility. We just don't have much direction. So just be patient, guys. Wait for opportunities here to present themselves. Otherwise, there's just nothing else to take here at this very moment. So just got to be patient. Just got to wait. Eventually, we are going to get some movement here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, it's just nothing here to work out with. You just got to wait for this here to push below or push above. It's all about patience here, guys. All right, so we had some news come up. It was low impact news. Let's take a look real quick and see what came up from that. That's probably where this big volatility spike came from. So looking over here real quick, it was mixed. So we had Fed manufacturing shipments index, which was negative, revenues index, which was positive, and manufacturing index, which was negative. So that said, price kind of came down a little bit right here at 7 o'clock. Not a strong push, but still affected it just a little bit. All right, so we got price here now down below. Let's see if it holds or if it pushes right back up into this range. Again, we don't want price to be stuck in this range here. We want price to be out of it. Looking at the 1 minute, the 1 minute's actually shifted back below. So the 5 minute's still bullish, 15 minutes still neutral, the 1 minute's down below. So we have a mixed trend right now. 1 minute is shifting to bearish, 5 minute is bullish, 15 minute is neutral, 10 minute or sorry, 30 minute is bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 4 hours still neutral. All right, we got price inching down here. If you guys are looking to take entries here, I mean, I wouldn't take the entry here because there's no confirmation yet. But if you are looking to take entry here, possible high-low break and retest from this level right here. It's a possibility. Not a good entry, but possibility. Yeah, Chris, I just saw your message. Yeah, the orb did hit for 100 earlier, like the regular orb. A little tricky though, because I mean, if you waited for that retest right here, this spiked down like a quite a bit. You'd have to have like a pretty wide stop loss to catch that spike before it came back up. I was really hoping to take the orb today, guys. Like, I mean, I haven't taken the orb in a while, and I was really hoping the orb would come up nicely, but today was pretty messy. So there was no orb entry for me to take today. Like just the fact that we had this big chop right here before it came down, I already knew for sure. Like once I saw this right here where it because the thing is price was above it on this candle. It was nicely above it and it pulled down at the last second. It happened again right here. Price was above it, pulled down at the last second. Once this opened above it right here, I already knew something was up because this doesn't usually happen, right? Like, yeah, you get gaps every so often, but not right at the orb entry. So I played it safe. Still early in the week, so I'm not really pressured to take anything too crazy here. All right, so again, right here, price is just rejecting off the sessions. It's not actually breaking and closing below it. We don't really have that confirmation yet. All right, nothing to take here, guys. If you guys are looking to take these sweeps, there was a sweep that just happened right here. So like I said before, guys, the sweep's probably going to be your best friend right now. If you guys are looking to take any entries, the sweep's probably going to be your best option. Look like a 30-point sweep right there. Sweeps and V1 variations. Otherwise, there's not much else here to take right now because there's no direction in price. Once we get a direction here, then I'll start looking for trades in that direction, but we just do not have that here right now. All right. So again, guys, just waiting. Looks like this is probably going to be similar to yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to get an entry today, unfortunately. We still got a lot of time, so I'm not I'm not completely out of the market yet. It is 7:06 right now, but the only problem with this is that once we hit 7 o'clock, the volatility starts to get very, very slow. And that's kind of what it's looking like right now, right? Volatility is getting very, very slow. All right, so I'm not really getting much of a direction, guys. Again, like I said earlier, we're waiting for price to really confirm what's the reaction to this supply zone right here. We're either looking for price to push below it, get back to open, or we're going to look for it to push above and climb up higher. You can see over here that price is attempting to push back up. So right here, price faked out, pulled below, then it faked out right here, and likely push back up. It's basically grabbing liquidity on both ends. It's stopping both buyers and sellers. So like people who chase the buy right here, it stopped them out, right? And then people who are now chasing the sell right here, if it pushes back up, it's going to stop them out as well. That's why it's ideal to take sweeps here versus the directional moves. Because if you take the extremes, from this top end and from this lower end, price is likely to pull back into this middle area. So it's just a matter of time, guys. Just got to be a little patient with this. Um, I mean, this is the hardest part about trading. It's really just sitting on your hands, right? It's easy to get into positions. It's easy to get stopped out, get unlucky. The hard part is really just not doing anything. So still waiting here, waiting for some sort of confirmation to confirm. All right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're just waiting, guys. We're really just waiting for some sort of reaction from this area here. Below or above, doesn't matter which direction. We're just waiting for the confirmation first. All right, still nothing, guys. And it's crazy that this thing has just gotten super flat. I mean, it's not super crazy. It's 7 o'clock, so it's not like this is something new to us, right? We've seen this before. It's just, yeah, this is going to test our patience for sure. All right, so price is breaking below this area. Again, if you guys want to take this as a high-low break and retest, you can. There just isn't very much confirmation here yet. Sam said at least NQ is doing something. Yeah, so we're starting to get a push down right here. If you guys want to take this as a high-low break and retest, entry is going to happen right here at the 44,560. The candle has to fill on this following candle here. If it doesn't fill on this following candle, then there's no entry. The problem with this here is that the entry, the target's going to be past the, it's going to be at the sessions over here. So obviously red flag, right? So again, this candle has to fill on, or this entry has to fill on this candle. If it doesn't fill on this candle, then you have to cancel the order. There's no fill here yet. Price is now starting to push down, which is perfectly fine. This is what we were waiting for. So the analysis here is actually pretty nice. So you can see over here my R1, I already had this marked up pre-market. It said key fade zone if tested early. That's exactly what happened, right? Price pushed up here and then it faded right down below. It was a perfect fade zone right there. Does not look like this high-low break and retest is going to fill, so I'm going to cancel that. And now price is pushing right back to opening price. It's doing exactly what we anticipated, right? We talked about this. I mentioned, look at how price reacts to this middle area here. Either look for a break and retest above it, or look for price to reverse and come down from here, right? And that's exactly what happened right here. Price reversed and it came right back down. So this scenario here did get filled. Now that this is filled, I'm looking for the trend over here to confirm, right? Once I have a trend confirmation over here on the lower time frames, I'll start looking for some sells. The 1 minute over here has already confirmed it's now bearish. Price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling to the downside. We also have divergence here angling to the downside as well. The 5 minute over here still has not shifted yet. You can see over here the trend meter is still green. Price is attempting to close below the pivots. If it closes below the pivots and it stays below here, then the trend meter is going to start to shift to the downside for a red bar. And if that's the case, we can start looking for some possible sells here. Right now, I'm not convinced yet, so I need to wait for some more confirmation. This 5 minute candle has about a minute left on it. So once we have that, I'll start looking for some possible opportunities here for sell. But right now, we just don't have that yet. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for it to confirm. And if that's the case, then I'll be looking for a possible high-low break and retest below this area right here, right? So just got to be patient, guys. I'm looking for price to close below the opening price. I don't really want anything to happen up here. I want price to happen down here, right? It's got to be smart about it. Nothing here yet. This low hasn't been established yet. Once it's established, we can possibly start to use this as a level. Um, but yeah, we just don't have it yet. So again, the 5 minute here is going to be the confirmation that we're looking for. 5 minutes still has not confirmed. 15 minute hasn't confirmed yet either. Let's see. Sam said I'm staying out of the market. Yeah, same here, bro. I think you're making the better decision here to stay out than to hop in. There's no need to force anything yet. All right, looks like that bearish confirmation still hasn't confirmed, guys. So we again wait. All right, we got price coming back down. It's exactly what we wanted to happen. All right. Nothing going on here, guys. Again, I'm waiting for the confirmation, but there's just no confirmation here. Again, if price comes down to this point right here, I'll look for opportunities for entry for a sell, but we just don't have that yet. We have a new high here established. This low here has been established so far, but we do need price to come back below this point, retest, come back lower from there. Let me clean this up. We have a lot of liquidity sitting down here, so if price does make its way below, then great. If it doesn't, then we're probably going to be sitting in limbo up here. So same analysis from this morning, guys. If you guys did not look at my daily outlook, we're neutral to bearish. Price is back to neutral to bearish. In order for price to shift to the upside, we needed price to break 44,600 and push up with momentum. Price did break above it right here initially. There's no momentum push though. So we initially had price break past this area, but it didn't actually push up higher. It just ended up getting up to this resistance. Oops. It just ended up getting to this resistance here, faking out, and then pulling back below. Now that price has pulled back below here, my bearish bias is still intact. So with that being the case, I'm looking for price to push below this point here, below the open, and confirm a bearish trend. Once we confirm that bearish trend, I'll be looking for opportunities for entry. So looking over here on the 1 minute, it's currently bearish. 5 minute is still bullish. Price is still above the pivots. Same with the 15 minute over here. So we just need to have some confirmation. The 15 minute actually looks pretty good for a sell right now. It looks like it never really shifted up. It was just a temporary push to the upside, and then now price is coming back down. The 5 minute over here, we're now looking for this to confirm below. So I think the 5 minute is going to be the lagging time frame because the 1 minute's already bearish, 15 minutes already bearish. With the 5 minute here, we just need price to break and close below here and continue dropping, right? So I really just need price to break and close below the pivots right here. This candle has about 20 seconds left on it. Hopefully, if it does, and we'll have some opportunity here for entry. But if it doesn't, we're gonna have to wait for another 5 minute candle here to close to confirm. And again, right there, you can see from this candle, it has not closed below it. So another 5 minutes, guys. What's another 5 minutes, right? It's been waiting long enough. Sam said MPSV2 sell to full TP. Let's check. Nice. Yeah, so there was an MPSV2 sell right here. It was kind of messy like where it was at, but it was, nonetheless, it was still an MPSV2. So we had a sell signal right here, price retraced, confirmed on this red candle right here. And this was an MPSV2 for a sell. Only problem with this entry here is obviously, the red flags, but it's still kind of pushed below. I mean, depends on what your TP stop loss was for this one as well. But if you're doing like a 30-30 or something like that, would have been perfect. This would have been a little tricky for the tighter stop loss because we did have a sessions at this point here. But yeah, there's an MPSV2 that came down from here. Sell signal, retracement, confirmation. Actually, it was right here. Sorry, I marked this up incorrectly. I think 20 would have been fine, actually, now that I've fixed it. Yeah. So the MPSV2 was right here. It's actually, again, it's same analysis. I think it's a tricky entry because the sessions were right there, but we did have a sell signal, retracement on this green candle, confirmation on this red one right here. As soon as this candle opened, this is where the entry would have been. And the 40 points would have hit right there. So nice work, Sam, on catching that. Good eye on catching that one there. I wasn't even paying attention to that because price was consolidating, but good to see that you identified that one there. There's another MPSV2 possibly setting up right here too. We have a sell signal, price is pushing down. What you're going to look for here is a retracement confirmation. Once you have that, this is going to probably push down to the opening price. So target area for price to reach is still going to be opening price down here. All right, let's go back over here. So the 5 minute again, guys, we have about 3 minutes left on this candle. We need this candle to close below the pivots. Once this candle has closed below the pivots, we can confirm that price is starting to shift to the downside. We don't have a full confirmation yet, but it is starting to shift down. You can see over here on the 1 minute, price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. Same with the 15 minute over here, price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. The 5 minute here is the main lagging time frame. Once the 5 minute has confirmed, we can really confirm here on the lower time frames that it's going to be bearish, right? 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. But we'll see what happens here in a few. Again, I'm not taking anything yet until I have that confirmation. All right, still waiting for that confirmation, guys. Nothing there yet, but it is starting to get down there. Let's go back to that 5 minute. Again, the 5 minute here has not closed below. We need this to close below. This is going to be the threshold for us because the 1 minute's bearish already, the 15 minutes bearish. We just need the 5 minute here to confirm, but it's not looking like it. This candle here again is having a lot of trouble getting below the pivots. All right, there goes another drop in the bucket. Looks like we're going to wait for another 5 minutes for it to push below this point. Otherwise, it's probably just going to consolidate and range within this area here. So it is consolidating and ranging within the sessions here now. This is okay though. So like now that price is starting to squeeze, so we're starting to get a squeeze here, right? When price starts to squeeze like this, let me show you again. Let me go to a cleaner area here. So once we start to get price to squeeze down like this is just preparing for a breakout, right? You start to get a squeeze sideways and it's going to break out, whether it breaks out to the upside or whether it breaks out to the downside. So, I mean, this is fine. This is same pattern we've seen time and time again. It's not something out of the unusual. It's normal. Like once we hit 7 o'clock, so again, 7 o'clock is right here, right? Once 7 o'clock here, you can see that the volatility here started to get really, really slow, right? It was a little higher and then it started to get slower and slower and slower. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Sam said, I'll prefer buy sweep from below. Hopefully it comes there. Yeah, I mean, ideally that would have been the case, right? This is a nice sweep area right here if anybody's looking to take it. So this high low right here at the 44,524 would be a nice sweep zone, right? I probably would get in from the Asia low right here. So I probably wouldn't get in from liquidity. I probably, if you're looking to take a sweep, guys, I would get in at 44,519. This purple line right here. And I'd go for something small, like something really tight, 20 points maybe. There's another sweep zone right here too, which is going to be this liquidity. Again, for this sweep, I would go for something tight, right? Just a quick push up, sweep from there, pull back down. Price pushes below here, sweep down here, pull back up. That's all I can see right now. There's no confirmation. Again, the 5 minute here isn't really helping us out too much. I mean, it's trying to push below, but it's not having any luck at all. All right, we got nothing. The thing is, um, because of the previous because of the previous trading week, I was expecting this week to kind of be somewhat similar to this. I mean, if you guys look at the stats, so let's look at the stats for this week or for the last couple weeks, right? Usually, if we have a pretty busy like week, like last week and the week before, usually it starts to slow down a little bit. So you can see over here, like in June, right? We had a slow week over here, and then it picked up as a very volatile week, and then it was a slow week right here, and then a volatile week, and another slow week, right? So last week was pretty volatile with regard to entries. So this week is a lot slower. I haven't taken anything on the 21st. I haven't taken anything today on the 22nd. If anything, we might have our entries over here between the 23rd and the 25th. Or if I'm going to predict this properly, I think my entries might happen right here tomorrow and Thursday, 23rd and 24th. I'm probably not going to have any trades on Friday. That's just, I've seen this pattern like so many times. All right, same right with this over here in May. Slow week, busy week, slow week, somewhat busy week, very slow week, right? It alternates. Yeah, same with this right here. Slow week, busy week, slow week, busy week, slow week. Same with March here, very busy week, first week of March. kind of slow week, kind of slow week, busy week right here. So if that's the case and the pattern continues, we're probably, if I don't get an entry today, I'm probably getting an entry on Wednesday and probably Thursday. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Let me clean this up a little bit. We got price pushing back up. So there's a possible high-low break and retest right here. It's not one I would take. This is the same thing that happened earlier for the orb entry, guys. So we had price right here, which closed right at the line. It didn't push past it. It just kind of closed right at the line, right? We don't like setups like that. We want setups to be clean. Like we want a clean break and retest. Either way, if this candle doesn't come back and touch this blue line right here, there's not going to be an entry for a high-low break and retest. So if you look at this from a bigger picture, guys, we're just in this huge range. Market open right here at 630, price pushed up, and now we're just stuck within this huge range right here. Back and forth, back and forth. This is a 170 point range. All right, so nothing there with the high-low break and retest. That order has to be canceled now, and we have next opportunity setting up here possibly. All right, guys, we are just waiting. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, just gotta wait. All right, we got price pushing back up. We don't have a trend confirmation yet, guys. So I'm not really looking to take any buys here until I get some sort of confirmation. So let's go back over here to the overall trend. 1 minute is not really confirmed as bullish yet, but it is shifting up. So we might have a bullish trend here, shift back to the upside, guys. If that's the case, that's completely fine, right? I'm not opposed to taking buys here. I just need price to actually push up. So looking over here on the 1 minute, price is above the pivots. The pivots are starting to angle to the upside. The trend meter down below is currently blue, so it's shifting from bearish to neutral. If that's the case, you might have a bearish shift back up to bullish. Right here on the 5 minute, this is still bullish here. It never really shifted. So price is above the pivots. The trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. 15 minute over here, price is starting to shift as well. So you can see over here, the trend meter is back to blue, right? So price is above the pivots. The trend meter is green. Pivots are starting to angle it to the upside. If that's the case, then that's perfectly fine, but I need price to actually push above this area. So in order for me to take this as an entry for a buy, I need price to push above the supply zone right here. And I'm going to be looking for entries somewhere above this area over here. So there's no problem with that there, but we just have to wait for the confirmation. There's no confirmations yet. So until we have that, I'll be looking for opportunities here for the upside. Again, we're still stuck in this big range. So this again is still going to be a key supply zone. The supply zone is really going to tell the story whether price is going to continue to the upside or whether it's going to push down to the lower side. Looking over here at the weekly outlook, so let's take a look at the bigger picture. Looking over here at the monthly outlook, we had a bullish with caution overall market bias. So for the monthly analysis of the market, it's still bullish. For the weekly analysis, it was cautiously bullish. So same thing over here. If this is the case, this is completely fine, right? Bullish for the month, bullish for the week. For the day, it's neutral to bearish, but it mentioned here that if price breaks and closes past this area with momentum, then it can shift back to bullish. So, I'm just putting all the pieces together here. The bias is a little tricky, but if price does finally break above this area and stay above here, then we can possibly shift to bias. But if not, price may just come right back down here and range within this middle area. So nothing for me to take here, but it's okay. I'll be waiting for, for what's to come next. All right, again, we just wait. All right, guys, we got price just hanging out. We'll see if it pushes above. We got this pretty nice strong green candle right here. All right, perfect. So we got price above the 44,600. There's a strong momentum candle right there. Let's see if this here starts to push up higher. This is a possible high-low break and retest point, but I mean, like I said earlier, I'm not really looking to take the entries here until I have a confirmation of trend. If you guys do want to take this entry right here, this is a high-low break and retest. The only problem is that it's within a supply zone. So this makes it really tricky because there could be easily a manipulation right here for it to come back down. So it's not going to be an area that I'm looking to take, but this is a high-low break and retest setup. Not exactly the best setup, but it is a setup nonetheless. So let me go ahead and take a look over here. The 1 minute's now bullish. You can see prices above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. The 5 minute over here is still bullish. Prices above the pivots, the trend meters green, pivots are angling up. The 15 minute here is starting to shift. So with it shifting like this, we can start to look for some possible buys. The only thing with this here is that I need to have some sort of confirmation before I start looking for entry there, right? So meaning I need price to actually push out of the supply zone and then give me opportunity somewhere up here. I don't really want to take trades down here because there's too many red flags, right? For one, we're within the supply zone, and for two, we have a overnight high right here, also aligned with the Asia high. And then we have the resistance one over here with a key fade zone. So I don't really want to take trades around this middle area, although these trades will probably hit. I don't want to take any trades here because there's a high probability of manipulation happening within this zone right here, basically within this area. So not really looking to take anything here. If I'm going to take something, it's going to be up here. This is going to be my entry area. And you can see here how price is getting manipulated back down. This is exactly why I would not take a trade here in supply zone, right? This area right here is not a good area to be trading. So again, guys, we're going to wait here for some confirmation. Until there's confirmation, I mean, there's nothing really here. I'm just sitting on my hands for the most part. Haven't taken anything today, haven't taken anything yesterday. But again, like I said earlier, guys, this is the hardest part about trading. It's really not trading. Taking entries is easy, but like being able to be consistent is, that's a different story. All right, so fake out right there. Price did not confirm above the 44,600. All right, so again, guys, nothing here. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. Connection lost. Sam said, happy to miss them, then regret. Plenty of opportunities will come. Yeah, 100%, Sam. That's why for me, I'm not too, if you guys start to feel antsy about a position or you start to feel FOMO, then, that's time to step away. For me, I don't feel antsy or I don't feel FOMO at all because I already know these are not good entries because the confirmations just aren't there. So again, here, this high low is now getting pushed higher. This low here is getting pushed lower. Let's take a look at the overall trend again. So looking at the 1 minute here again, you can see how price here is starting to shift again back to the bearish bias, right? Earlier right here it was bearish, it shifted to bullish, now it's back to bearish. There's just a lot of uncertainty with regard to the direction of the trend, especially on the 1 minute here. There's no confirmation. Price is now bearish again, so we're just kind of going in limbo. It's like back and forth, back and forth. Price is now below the pivots. The trend meter is turning red. Pivots are starting to angle down. The 5 minute here is still bullish, so this hasn't really moved at all. So we have a mixed trend here, right? 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bullish, 15 minute is neutral, 30 minute is bearish, 1 hour is bearish neutral, and the 4 hour here is pretty much straight neutral. If you look over here on the 4 hour, you can really see closely that nothing's been going on. So this is the 4 hour time frame. You can see here that nothing's been going on. This is the higher time frame, like the very high time frame. And if you look even closer here, you can see over basically the past day, nothing's really been happening, or from Asia session, basically. It's just straight consolidation right there. So again, guys, you just have to be patient. You have to understand when not to trade. This is one of those days where it's not a good time to trade. If you do want to take something though, sweeps are going to be your best friend. So if that's what you want to take, feel free to take sweeps. But other than that, I'm kind of just sitting back right now. So again, like I said earlier, let's take a look at the daily outlook. This key number here has not happened yet, right? So like I said over here, neutral to bearish bias unless 44,600 breaks with momentum. We still haven't had that. So if that's the case, we're still in a bearish momentum or bearish bias. So we're going to be in a bearish bias until proven otherwise, right? Right here, price try to break above it, faked out, pulled back into a bearish bias. Price again over here, try to push above it, faked out, back into a bearish bias. Let's see. Wes is asking, anyone know why Nasdaq dumped so hard on open? Let's take a look. Um, let's take a look at CNBC. Any breaking news here? It could have been because of the Fed speech. It could have been because of the Tariff news. Let me check what earnings were today. Yeah, nothing really here in the Nasdaq. I mean, there was a couple earnings from yesterday, but nothing today. Coca-Cola and General Motors, but neither of these companies are in the Nasdaq, so I don't really see anything there. I mean, it could have just been from the Fed. This Bassett says Powell doesn't need to resign, but should conduct internal review. Yeah. I mean, this is the only thing I can really think of. Bassett says August 12th, China tariff deadline likely to be extended. Yeah, was expected, right? So we talked about this. Every time there's a new tariff news that comes out, I always tell you guys look out for the extension. So we talked about this earlier last month, and then I said, okay, when the tariff news comes around again in August, expect a possible extension. That's exactly what's happening here. But I don't think this stuff directly affected NQ. Yeah, no idea what caused NQ to drop like that. Here, I could check. Let me ask AI. A trader by a comprehensive analysis breakdown of why NQ. All right, let's see what AI has to say. It's gonna scurry throughout the internet for us and see what caused the drop. So, I mean, the big thing is like the big tech earnings. This is what I was trying to buy into for tomorrow. I mean, we have like a couple big earnings that are coming out later today or later this week. So we have Alphabet, which is tomorrow. I'm trying to get into this so I can catch the push. We got Tesla on Thursday, Intel, ServiceNow. And that's about it. But they're big companies, of course. So, like for the most part, that's kind of what I see right now with regard to, so I'll just drag this over. Yeah, so big tech earnings with caution. Tariff trade tensions, this is what I just mentioned about CNBC. Waiting for Fed rate signals. This is what we talked about as well with Fed Chair Powell and profit taking at record highs. So pretty much everything we covered here was what I just talked about. The earnings that are coming up, tariff news, but there's nothing specific. There's nothing that really just caused it to spike down. It's just it's a compilation of like a lot of different things. So that's all I can find right there. That's what I saw through CNBC, and that's pretty much what I've noticed there as well. Looks like they're still talking here. So Powell and the Fed is still talking at the moment. They've been talking for a while. It's like by almost 2 hours now. Um, but yeah, still nothing here going on, guys. If you guys want to take this as a high-low break and retest, there's an opportunity right there. But again, not one that I would recommend taking because there's no confirmation of trend here. No confirmation trend, and price is still kind of bouncing back and forth. Let's see. Sam said 44,478 sweet buy will be nice. But not sure if it'll come there. Missing all the MPSV2s. There's a sell MPSV2 that's currently running as well. Yeah. So there's a sell MPSV2 that is running right now. Is right here. It's had a red flag though, so I mean it's not really one that I'd personally be looking to take. Looks like it hit 30 points already, so if that was the case, stop loss and profit, of course. The buys are tricky though. There was another MPSV2 that came up right here too. Buy signal, retracement, confirmation. Yeah, so there's a couple There's a couple entries here that are coming up. They're just really tricky entries. So the high-low break and retest is currently running right there. This would have been a tricky entry because it was right at the sessions. Let's see, Sam's trying to get in for a sweep at 44,478. Yeah, I don't know if that'll happen, Sam. Yeah, I could see it though. So your sweep is in a good area right here. I'm looking at it too. 44,478. It lines up right here with my liquidity. It's right below the opening price. But like we said, the volatility here is kind of slow, and we're just getting a sideways move here. So I'm not really expecting too much to happen here. As much as I'd like for it to, odds of it happening are very unlikely. So, all right, guys, if there's any questions, feel free to hop into the chat, ask any questions you guys have. I'm free to answer whatever you guys need help with, even if it's a different asset you want me to look at. There's nothing to take here on YM, so not really expecting much to happen here in the next few moments. It is 7:50 right now, so we have about 10 minutes till 8. Looking over here at the trend, I don't think the trend is going to confirm in the next 10 minutes, guys. There is, I don't think there's going to be a confirmation of trend in the next 10 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, no entries for me today so far, which I think is good. There's a lot of opportunities here to get caught up in some fake outs and some losses, right? A lot of manipulation right here as price got near this supply zone. If you would have chased this buy here, you would have gotten stopped out. If you would have chased the sell here, you might have gotten stopped out too if price pulled back below. So there's a lot of traps here. You guys got to remember it's Trap Tuesday, right? We always joke around about that being a Trap Tuesday. Today's literally Trap Tuesday. A lot of traps on both ends. It's not even a strong range or a strong consolidation. Price has kind of just been bouncing back and forth. And then here it's been in the stronger consolidation for a while now. Or not even consolidation. This is more of a range right there. Yeah, no problem, Wes. CJ said too close to the session, so I'm sitting out. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. It's too close to the sessions right there for that MPSV2. You guys got to keep in mind for these directional entries, the red flags are they're still relevant. Yeah, Sam said he goes for the extreme liquidity. I would do the same thing, right? The extreme liquidity is the best one because you won't get caught in any of those, you don't get caught in the traps basically. It's easier just getting in and out when it's super far out. All right, guys, we're getting closer to 8 o'clock. We're starting to get a push to the downside right here. So it looks like we're starting to confirm the trend that we were talking about earlier. I mean, if this is the case, then, we may have opportunity here for a sell. But like I said earlier, I don't know if this is going to hold. So my entry right here, like for myself, if I'm looking to take an entry at this point, my entry is going to happen pretty low. So liquidity broke right there. I mean, this was also a high-low break and retest thing. So we have a high-low break and retest running to the downside right here to the full 40. This MPSV2 hit the full 40 right there as well. All right, we're currently below this point. I guess I can possibly look for entry here if price comes down any lower, but this is a possible sweep area. So we have liquidity right here. It's a high low. It's at the sessions right there. So if you're really looking to take this as a sweep level, the sweep actually just got, I would wait for it to pull down to this purple right here, which is going to be the Asia low. No, I don't think we have enough time. My cutoff for trading is still 8 o'clock. I'm not going over that. Yeah, not really expecting too much to happen here. So let's see. Steven is asking if I can analyze gold for him. Sure. So let's take a look at gold real quick. All right, so looking at gold over here, gold is very bullish. Right, gold is very bullish, so I would only look for buys here if you're going to look for trades for gold. Um, that's kind of the main thing that I'd be looking for here if I'm going to be looking for entry. So whatever opportunities you're looking for here on gold is going to be a buy entry, Steven. Save this real quick. I don't know why I have that thing on the chart. So I mean, it kind of depends on like what time frame you're trading on. If you're trading on the lower time frames here, the go back to the 1 minute here. There's a possible high-low break and retest that may be setting up over here. There's also a MPSV2. So if you're looking to take an entry here on the 1 minute, Steven, the MPSV2 is actually currently running right now at the moment. So you got an MPSV2, which is currently running right there for a buy. If you're looking for a high-low break and retest, um, I mean, it kind of just depends on like where this ends up closing. So if you're looking for a high-low break and retest, you can look for price to break and close above this area. Entry would happen right there at 3,442. Here's an example of that same entry that happened earlier today. So there's a higher high right here. Price broke and close above it right here. Retested. Entry would have happened right there at the 34.33. And this right here would have been a full TP for a buy right there. Could have went for a 25 to 50. Or even a 25 to 75 if you want to go for a bigger risk reward. Okay, so this high over here is now invalidated. Next one's going to be right here. So if you're looking to take this right here, Steven, like a quick entry on gold, if price breaks past this area right here at 34.40, 34.40.8, this could be a possible opportunity for entry here for a buy. Price needs to break above it, retest it, and push back up higher from there. That's just on the lower time frame. So like, let's go back over here real quick. So like I said earlier, if you're looking for entries for gold, I would mainly just look for buys here. There's a lot of different strategies you can apply. You can apply whatever strategy that we're applying here. You can apply whatever strategy you're applying. But you want to just mainly focus for buys here. Your buy should be for a buy, regardless. So, all right, I think that's it for gold. I mean, there's not really much else here to look at. I pretty much gave you the full. I mean, if you're trading on the higher time frames, you can see over here on the 1 hour. I mean, there's a lot of entries here that you could have taken. Like on the 1 hour here, if you just took the momentum, looks like this already pushed up pretty high. Steven said, okay, so buy for late New York session. I mean, you're not just going to buy anywhere, Steven. You have to have some sort of strategy that you're following. But yeah, you should be looking for buys. Your buys for today is a buy regardless, but don't just take a random entry because if you do that, you'll just blow your account again. So just be smart about it. Take an entry, but make sure there's an actual entry there to take. Don't just take a buy just because. Just because you feel like, oh, today's like I should just take a buy right now. Don't do that because if you do that, you're probably going to lose a trade. Yeah, exactly. Wait for the pullback or wait for the confirmation. Either wait for the pullback or wait for the break and retest. I mean, pullback's probably gonna be smarter for you specifically because I already know that you're not good at like being patient for things. So I would probably just say, wait for that pullback. Pullback would probably be around here, like maybe follow the pivots, right? 34, 37. You said 34.20. Bro, 34.20 is so far. See, if you wait for 34.20, you're probably going to be in full on reversal at that point. I mean, yeah, if you want to, I don't know what your strategy is or what made you think to get in at 34.20. You can, but that's pretty far down. Let me go over here to the 5 minute. I mean, it's not that far. If you're trading on the higher time frames, then I guess okay, makes sense. Yeah, I guess it makes sense, Steven. You could get in at 34.420 or 34.20. Um, yeah, I'm looking over here on the 5 minute time frame now. It doesn't look so bad because the pivots are down here. So yes, but I mean that's a pretty strong pullback. It's like way too far for retracement. But if you do get a retracement that far, if it does pull back up, you're going to have a better opportunity there for you to get in. So yeah, the cheaper the better, of course. So that's an okay number. Just make sure that you have some sort of actual reasoning behind it. Yeah, no problem, Steven. All right, guys, I think this is it for the day. I don't really see any entries here. The confirmation hasn't really confirmed. Price never really came back down lower. It is 8 o'clock. So I think this is going to be it for the day, guys. Unfortunately, I didn't take any entries for the day, but looking at our charts over here, there were a bunch of entries that did come up so far. So the orb here did play out for 100 points. If you guys went for that 100-point move, the retest never really filled after this because the candle didn't close properly. Um, we had a bunch of smaller entries here that showed up as well. We had a liquidity push, liquidity sweep, MPSV2, liquidity sweep. I think this was a high-low break and retest, MPSV2. A lot of MPSV2s and sweeps for the day. Not too many high-low break and retests, but a lot of MPSV2s and sweeps. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really expecting much to happen now, guys. You guys can see the volatility here is still pretty low. It's been low pretty much all day today. So not just volatility, but direction. It's a lot of back and forth here. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. There's no reason for me to force any trades here. Like I said earlier, looking at the stats for this week, I haven't taken any trades this week. Last week was pretty nice and busy. Week before that was pretty nice and busy. So we're probably gonna expect some entries tomorrow on Wednesday and then possibly on Thursday. So hopefully the market starts to smoothing out around that time. I think it will because we do have some more news events coming up tomorrow. So tomorrow we have existing home sales at 7 o'clock, gas stock change. Thursday we have jobless claims, PMI, and then on Friday we have durable good orders. So I think today was good. It was a good day to sit out and just, watch the market, understand that there's not really much here to take. Hopefully tomorrow market's gonna be a lot more smoother and more directional, so we can start taking some more entries. But all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I would just stay out of the market, guys. There's no need to force anything here. Come back tomorrow fresh, and then we'll continue on with this trading week on Wednesday.